Hi there, I'm Vas. I've done several videos on NLP, why NLP and so forth. Why is there a need for this video? Well, I'm just going to explore about the situation. Because every so often, although some people may know that NLP was incepted in 1972 by two awesome guys called Richard Bandler and John Grinder, it has continued to grow in America and all over the world until today. And to me, it is still at an infant stage. So why is there a need for NLP? Well, psychology has played its part. All this time, it has been extremely efficient. But we are all, as human beings, looking for quicker and more efficient ways of solving our disorders so that we can get on with life and become successful. Because 99% of human beings are plagued with problems. And so when we realize that if we want to be better and you don't know how to go about doing it, it becomes a chore. It can be painful. We give up. We get depressed. And so that's what NLP has brought to the table over the umpteen years we've been around. In Singapore, it's been there for about 15, almost 20 years right now. And so in places like Vietnam, in Thailand, it is opening up. But every time we go into a new country, people do not do enough research to find out where they came from, and all they see is what they see with their five senses. And then, for some reason, you get bad-mouthed, like anything new. Psychology was having a hard time with NLP because we get things done much faster. And now, NLP is weaving into psychology programs, even in Singapore. So it is becoming modular processes that are woven into mainstream psychology courses. And more, it is being utilized in the education system to get results, to get better results in a quicker time. So, if you have done enough research, you will understand that psychology is only heading in one direction, and that is for it to serve more and more human beings on this planet. It is not going to stop. And so, it is better that you jump on board and be part of it then you try and sideline it, because many have tried. You know, there was a time when a psychologist was speaking to Richard Bandler, and they were talking about how much research, or there wasn't enough research for the eye patterns. And so Richard Bandler was talking to the psychologist and asked the psychologist, do you remember where you got your shirt from? And the psychologist did this. So Richard Bandler asked, well, did the shirt come from that side where you're looking at? Why did you look up there for? And then the psychologist realized that you don't really have to do, kill 1,000 rats and things like that for you to understand that simple things like that make sense. So for those of us who want to correct ourselves to improve our memory, all we need to do is just go to the left and the memory comes up. There's no rocket science to this. So sometimes when we do not have so much empirical data like what psychology or science has, it doesn't seem so real. But it is real because it works. So NLP is what works. So that's the reason why Richard Bandler and John Grinder studied people who became successful by themselves. And from studying them, we realize their strategies. And so now it's just not sit down airy-fairy, I ask you some questions, you let me know the answers, and then the session is over, and we've got another session coming up next week, and so forth. Here, we are incisive. We have processes to put a client through from step 1 to step 14, and when you're on the other side, something shifts inside. Something shifts inside, and the perception of the person in every way changes. And as that happens, the world around them changes. And they think that they might have changed somebody. It doesn't happen that way. Perception is projection. Somehow it happens. But if you want to understand how it actually happens, then psychology is not like going to read a book, or NLP is also not like going to read a book. You can't go and read a medical book and call yourself a doctor. So NLP is the same. We have designed NLP in such a way that you have to experience it, because it's about now. You've got to have it, otherwise you can't give it. And so we have a whole bunch of books written by the founders, encyclopedias. There's more. I'm just showing you a few. All of this stuff is where the basis of my practice comes from. The basis of the education comes from. The basis of the courses that I run come from. The basis of the processes that I use to help the kid or the 87-year-old guy who has realized that he needs change come from. So think about this. What does NLP ultimately do for you? If you're going into hypnotherapy, you're going into coaching, you're a leader, you need NLP to make you realize who you are first, to get you sorted out, to become, to think like the 0.7% on this planet, to be the ultimate leader. And from which, when you understand that, then you now have a right to be the leader that others will emulate. For us to go out and get ordinary people to do extraordinary things. You see, in NLP, we have a bandwidth to help a company from the CEO or the chairman all the way down to the person sweeping the toilet every day. For this whole hierarchy to be aligned, so that when you're aligned, when you're communicating in a certain way, when you're using your nervous system in a certain way, this whole organization moves together towards the objective much quicker than if you do not have this. Now, we all believe in personal development. But all these personal development methodologies are here and there and everywhere. But what NLP has done is this, made all of this stuff that are here, there and everywhere more relevant. They put it into a coherent process that when you learn it, everything becomes useful. So we will never tell anybody in NLP, we will never tell anybody that that process is not as good as mine. It never works that way. You know why? Because we are able to take everything and see the beauty in everything. And that's what ultimately what NLP is. So if you still need more information about NLP, the only way you're going to get it is not to go read a book. You got to jump in to learn how to swim, right? So you got to get into the water and get yourself wet. So we have many such programs going on that has been participated by kids to chairmen of organizations. I would like you to explore this. Do not sit back and just watch what's going on. Because you see, if you're just looking for people for whom it hasn't worked, there's just too many people out there. Can you imagine 5,000 people attending Anthony Robbins programs, and then they're walking out there saying they didn't work for them? How can it be? Why do 5,000 people invest their time and money to come and attend an Anthony Robbins program which predominantly is NLP based? Why? Because it works. If it hasn't worked for them, they are able to reflect, to realize that they were probably not ready. So it is about you getting ready, and when you do, and you come into the program, guess what? It's going to work for you like for that 5 to 10% for whom it will work, and they will take their life to the next level. Are you ready for that? If you are, visit NLP at whatever school you feel is best for you.